Welcome to Wisconsin's North Woods and Cunard Lake Campground in northern Highland-American Legion State Forest. It's a mouthful, and that's where we are right now. This is a small campground. Here's our map. Not a whole lot going on here. We're going to take the full tour. The numbering is kind of high. We're at 1,104. So as I give these, I'm just going to skip the 1,000. I'm just going to start with 104, 105, 106 going around. There are several walk-in sites here, or at least walk-in site there, host up front. Let's take a look at the whole thing. Now this tour will start at the beginning here at the entrance. First off, there is a payment station to pay for your vehicle permit. All reservations are done online. You can pre-reserve or you can show up and reserve your site by calling in or going to the reservation system. There is cell service, so that is possible. So let's look at 101 or 1,101. Park here, walk in. Here's the first site. Not huge, just enough for your tent. Small tents, not a big space. But let's just keep going and see what the lake is like. You could tent here, but it's a little slopey. There's no flat spot. And actually, I think it's a trail coming by here, so not the best tent site. 102, camp host. Apparently the position is open. There is no camp host here right now. So if you want to be a camp host, although it does look like the hummingbird feeders are filled. So someone's coming around. Just past the camp host is the beach access. Let's check it out. Small area, little sandy section up top. Oops, hello. How are you today? Well, that was unexpected. Okay, down to very small beach. A couple sand toys here already. Very clear, very sandy beach. Drops off fairly quickly. This is beautiful. We got some lily pads right there. Nice little lake. There is a little pier over there. Might have to get there before I leave. This is pretty. Very beautiful lake. Site 103. Barely a spot to park. And then stairs made out of roots up to your tent site up here in the woods. Pretty small, but right across from the beach. Now, when reserving these sites, you go onto Wisconsin, going to camp.com. If you show up and find an empty site, you can just scan the QR code to get you there. It doesn't take you directly to the site for this campground. You have to search for American Legion State Forest or Northern Highlands American Legion State Forest, and then within that, pick the campground. And this is Cunard Lake. Okay, 104, really 1,104. This is a much larger site than the last couple of them. Lots of room in here for something large. There is a little downhill slope. Separate men and women pit toilets. And across from that is 105. This is 105. Slight upward slope. Either over on there or back there. Plenty of room to settle in to that site. 106, quite visible to 107 next door. Fairly wide site, deep straight between the tall trees, and there's a little side spot there that could also be used for a tent. 106 over here, much smaller site, or 107, much smaller than 106. Fairly wide though. I don't believe there's anybody here. There is nobody in this campground. So when people keep telling me they can't find a place to camp, look harder and don't look on the 4th of July. 108. Very different kind of site. Get this big area to come in here, and then it bends to the left. Actually, it's getting some sunshine too. The fire ring is right behind this tree, and the table can be anywhere. So if you're good, you can get a vehicle or a camper in over here. 109. Kind of weird. Doesn't look very well loved. You got a space over here, room for your tent. The table can be anywhere. This doesn't seem like it's part of the site right here. 110 and 111. This is a pair to be booked together. So lots of room here for two families to use. It's not super deep, not as big as some of the other ones, but still fairly large, and 3 substantial trees back there. $112 here, just expansively wide, doesn't look overly used. Trail going back to the pit toilets on the other side, and some really pretty little flowers. 113 here, big site, pretty deep. That tree is your limiter, but fairly wide beyond that. 114, it kind of comes in around the corner. There's a lot of room over there to get around that stump. 115, very wide entrance, but you then narrow down to between those trees. Table can be anywhere, so you can actually park where the table is. But if you want as a tent site, table's a good spot. Put the tent next to that. 116 here, slopes up quite a bit coming back till it levels off up here. The next site might be monstrous. Okay, 117, 118, whole separate little drive-in section here. 117 on the right, tucked back in there with their travel trailer, small fifth wheel, I guess. Now let's show you 18 over here. So it's 1,118. Still fairly big, deep in the woods here. Get in, come around the corner, and get something really big back here if you're good at backing in. Okay, to back into those sites, you have to start way down there by the parking for the walk-in sites. Come all the way through, around the corner either way to get into those sites. 119, pretty big. There's a stump back there that'll limit how far back you can go, but plenty of room to the side for tents. And then a series of walk-ins, 21, 20, 21, 22, and 23. Across from that is 2 more pit toilets. All right, let's go check in these walk-in sites. Again here, unlike most of the state parks, one of the disadvantages is it doesn't have wagons to help you bring your stuff in. So let's take a look at 122 here. Small little site here, but you're walking in, so you can't bring a lot with you. Nice little site. There is a trail here that probably takes you down the lake. Oh, actually, we're going to the next site here. 21. We have loons. Not all of these sites are empty, so I can only show you the ones that are empty. All right. this site, and there's another site over there that's all set up. That must be the next number up. So I'm not going to walk all the way back there, and it is a hike back there, not a short walk-in. And then 23 over here is another walk-in. Now those sites, a bit of a hike in and still a distance to the water. So they're not like right on the water or anything, but I think they all have little trails that you can work your way down there. Okay, just past the walk-in sites is 124 here. So this comes back in and then around the corner. Across from that is 125. Definitely a tent site, very rough through here, but nice and smooth around where the picnic table is. Around the other side, 126. They look well moved in, but you got to go way up the hill to get to the flat section where they have all their tents. 127 over here, very easy access site. Let's take a look at what this one offers. Pretty wide, but I see a little trail we're going to take. Now we are quite a bit up the hill from the water. It's a ways down. 128 here, fairly wide site, plenty of room for the tents and such. Screen house is a good idea. 129 over here, very rough in, definitely a good tent site. I wouldn't RV there at all. 130 on the right, nice for all usage, fairly short though. Nothing more than a pop-up or a teardrop in here. 131, fairly long. RV-wise, it's on the wrong side, but it's a great tent site. 132 over here. Not too long, pretty big open circle. 133 on the left. Definitely designed park here, camp up there. And just a little past the campground is the boat ramp. This is a small boat ramp for electric motors only or paddling. So you're not bringing your big boats out here because it's a small, peaceful lake. So that's Cunard Lake Campground tour and a beautiful view of Cunard Lake. Thanks for coming along on this. I'll have a full playlist of all my Wisconsin State Park campgrounds, which will include all of these in the state forest. If you're interested, I'll also have a full playlist of the National Forest campgrounds that are just to the east of here that I've done. So thanks for coming along on this journey. I'll see you on the next one. Get on out there and watch out for deer.